Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ, Mr. New Cool.
And it's your girl, Dani, your exceptionally effervescent egret.
I don't even know what any of that means.
How's that for syllables? So, an egret is a bird, a type of bird. So
Okay.
Don't call me a bird, but it is a type of bird.
Listen,
And it goes
you
in
call yourself a bird.
It goes in my narrative.
Bird, you know.
We're going to move on.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to yet another episode of Lovers Quarrel. As always, if this is your first time listening, thank you for tuning in to us. If this is your second or more times listening to us, thank you for coming back.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a very special episode lined up for you all. We have guests, plural, which we haven't had in a little bit. We've kind of been,
solo.
Yeah.
Not really solo.
Yeah, but just me and you, duo, whatever. Okay. So
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you picking up what I'm putting down.
I got you.
Got it. So, but we have the lovely ladies from the Oprah Rose podcast in front of us, and ladies, say hi.
Hi guys.
As always, you guys know the drill.
I know, right? We're all like, hi.
We will formally introduce these wonderful women a little later on the episode. But first things first, let's check in. How you doing?
I'm coolin'. How you?
I'm okay, actually. We've been doing a lot of road tripping.
We have.
Like,
we've been in New York
at 4 weekends in a row, which is a lot of miles.
A lot of miles.
On my car.
A lot of driving.
Yeah, you've done a lot of driving.
You got the bigger car.
Still, it's my car.
But
I'm not going to complain because you did all 97% of the driving.
I did how much?
97%. I only drove back once.
Nah, you got to give me 98.
Yeah, but I have to
like
get
even numbers, so.
98. I have to get up so much earlier than you to go to work. And, those children, it's May and I teach middle school. So, that in itself is, I shouldn't have to drive back home.
But I have to deal with, grown-ups who don't, understand simple things, so. That's more frustrating.
I have to deal with other people's children.
Yeah, I mean, but
and several of them are musty. The weather is picking up. Have you walked into a room with 33 7th graders? I think not.
Salute
I
to
haven't.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And sometimes it's bad because it's like sometimes you don't even I get accustomed to it, and then I walk out, and then I walk back in, and I'm like, damn,
and all them little hormones, it's probably extra damn funky too.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I have a whole drawer in my file cabinet in the back with everything that they could need, but some people just don't advocate for themselves. I'm sometimes I pull them to the side, when's the last time you washed that sweater? When and they complain about being hot, but then mind you, they have on 3 layers. They have on their school shirt, a hoodie, and a jacket. I'm not taking questions from you complaining about being hot if you don't take off at least 2 of these layers.
Right.
You make this is what I'm talking about. You make no sense. So stop complaining about being hot if you have on a sweatshirt.
Oh, child, I'm tired for you.
These are the things, people.
The world needs you.
Yes. I'm trying. I do love it. I complain about them all the time, but I do love it too. But sometimes they just don't think. But that's life. But with that being said, are you ready to get on the elevator?
Yeah. You can go first. You can come on.
So TJ likes to shade my elevator lately. He tries to. Now he made up an elevator. His elevator has an elevator operator.
Like you,
whatever.
I
okay.
I like you. So Benson would like to know who'd like to come on.
Is he back?
Yes, Benson's back.
Because last week you had some real suspect elevator operator.
He didn't have Air Force Ones on, so we were good.
Yeah,
Air Force Ones.
So how do you feel? So TJ and several of his compadres, they have a theory about black Air Force Ones, low tops.
Low and mid.
Low and mid means that you steal. So
I literally just heard this 2 weeks ago.
So
exactly.
This is I've been prevailing.
Wow. I
think this needs to be one of
they are. It's so many different.
It's you don't care about yourself, or
I could see that.
Okay.
I kind of can too. I mean, I never thought about it, but when it was brought to my attention and I looked at the full spectrum of the person, sense. I was I think he does steal.
See, okay. All right. I think, what we probably should take it to Black Twitter because, just how they had the whole if you wash your legs debate.
Oh, yes.
And so
who said that?
I know, I saw that.
You didn't see that on Twitter?
So
yeah, but somebody famous was talking about
Taylor
Swift. Okay.
LMA.
Ellen asked her,
does she wash her legs?
And she said that is shaving cream. So
no.
She was like, basically, you're right, because shaving cream is basically
but
soap,
you don't
right?
shave your legs every day.
That's what I was going to say. If you
who shaves their legs daily?
Right. People are just weird.
And I mean, Taylor Swift got a lot of legs because she don't have a lot much else. So
yeah,
you telling me you're not?
And she got probably
long
lasers. I feel like, and I'm still like, you probably have enough money to not even have to shave.
So yeah, it's the gravity of it's bad. So and like I tweeted the other day too. I said every day since then when I wash my legs and my feet, I'm like, there are people out here who don't do this shit. Like, and it don't take long. It's just like
that's part of the whole body.
Exactly. Like why? And it's just. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do it. I'm a visual and it's just not happening.
Got you.
But anyway, so now we get back on this elevator. Okay.
This fancy elevator.
Okay. Am I going first or you going first?
No, you can go. I can't get on my own elevator. I'll go to yours.
Okay. Going down. So my elevator talk this week is that I don't know why, but I have been like breaking. So like I teach middle school, and I have lately been breaking out. Like I'm in middle school. So like unfortunately, like this chin area. Like I've had these like very like, and I mean even when I was in middle school, high school, I never really had like bad acne or anything like that. But lately, I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like I'm drinking tons of water, trying to got the face scrub. I exfoliate all that jazz, but so I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm just a little frustrated. Plus, like I'm graduating this week, next week, depending on what episode drops. So it'll be
Friday.
So I will have I have graduation coming up. I will have graduated by this point, and I want my pictures looking crazy, like with a big old like crater on my face and stuff. So it's very petty, but I mean, and that's why I understand things could always be worse. But I'm just kind of like annoyed because my skin is not cooperating right now, and it's kind of bumming me out. And I mean, I love you, husband of mine, but you're not always necessarily helpful. What? Because you be like, what's that? Like he like look at my face, and I'm like, I know what it is. You know what it is. So why are you asking me
I don't know what
these
it is.
questions?
Yeah, you haven't had like acne in like 14 years.
But
so it just caught me by surprise.
Okay, well, I was gonna say something that was a touch shady, but
no, go ahead.
You said I haven't had acne in 14 years. I was like, but you have. So the other thing is, like, if you know what it looks like, then why are you going to try to put me on the spot?
I'm just saying. You're the one who brought up.
No. Previously, like, me speaking on it is one thing. You interrupting, like, TV night or whatever we're looking at. You're like, what's that on your face? And I'm like,
whatever.
Leave me alone. Like, I'm
sorry.
I'm insecure. I'm sensitive.
I'm still learning you.
Fair. I'm a Cancer.
So that never learn your person?
No, they change.
Sometimes.
True. All the time.
That's so
some
true.
Some things never change, and some things change a lot.
See, 14 years ago when I'd be like, what's that? She'd just be like, it's a pimple. But now
you're full of shit.
Now she's like, you are
full of shit.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, that's all I have. Very simple, but I just needed to get together, which is why I have water sitting next to my Prosecco.
Yeah. I don't think Prosecco.
Balance.
I don't think that's gonna help. But I don't think it works.
You're not encouraging.
My fault.
Like
balance. There you go.
Thank you. Pardon.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna stay down with you. So there's been reports on like Twitter, and I had to Google it to make sure. You gotta make sure that the sources are true. But they said in North Carolina, I think that they're the only state that once sex is consented, you can't like take it back. So if a woman consents to sex, but then she says no,
I changed my mind.
About this earlier.
So
wow,
they're the only state that has that like law.
See,
and that's like really troubling. What if I wanted to send my daughter to North Carolina and that happens?
Nope.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of like disturbing for me.
What white man decided that this was a good idea? Because that's who it was.
Always somebody who ain't getting no pussy.
A lot of these laws though are just old.
Yeah.
They don't make no sense, and even the new ones that are being passed is just like Missouri. Because so in the last episode we talked about Alabama. But now Missouri's passing a similar law, and both of the laws don't have like rape a part of it. So it's like you're forcing people to have to make these crazy choices.
Right. That shit has me hot. Like last episode, I was on a roll with it, and it's just more of the same. And like literally before we just started recording, TJ's little cousin was saying like how everything is, how they keep saying like it's like The Handmaid's Tale, which I've not watched.
I was just about to say that.
Which I haven't watched, but I know the premise of it, and it's like, you know, I'm like,
what is it?
The Handmaid's Tale is a show that, it comes on Hulu.
Okay.
And basically
it's literally like
they police women's bodies.
Yeah, you can only like have sex to procreate, and they basically take the women that are deemed as like not as valuable. And like the main character, for instance, like she's in a interracial relationship, so it's like you're deemed less worthy, and you don't make as much money, and you have to go to these families, and you're like literally their servant, and then they have sex with the men, but the men don't have sex with their wives. It's
and doesn't like the wife
has to sit
like
with
crisscross applesauce, because
they
don't say Indian style no more. Like, you know, but like
learn something new.
Crisscross applesauce. And like I did see the premise, and like the concubine or whatever, like the servant, she's to lay her head in a lap, right? And then the husband like is at the other end, like fucking her.
Okay.
So, but my question, because you know, I tried to watch it, or I watched a few episodes, and I'm gonna go back to it, but I was pregnant at the time, and I was like, I can't handle this. It was just a little bit too traumatic. So, but my question is, the women, like the wives, can they have kids? Like, are they? It's actually what it is a lot of the men are barren, and that's what they don't tell you, and they try to put it on the women. So like the kind of like the main character woman, like we don't know if she can, and what they do is like, I mean, I don't know if anybody's gonna watch it, but like she ends up having sex with basically like, I don't want to say a stable boy, but like the driver, and then the main character, like the husband, and she ended up getting pregnant.
Exactly. And so, but like I said, a lot of it is the men are barren.
This sounds like all my children too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no,
watch.
It's triggering. Like that show is like it's a lot, and it comes back in June. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So wait,
we gotta add that to the list.
Okay.
I think it's 3.
I don't even know. It's 2. Yeah, the second one is coming up in June.
Okay, so
that's it. I thought it was like at least 2 seasons.
I think it's just so much happens.
Okay. Because I mean, I know people who like anyone I know who watches it loves it.
Yeah.
And so I just like, and you know, this is our summer coming up of like catching up on all things, because I've missed a lot of school in the last 3. A lot of school.
You've been busy.
A lot of TV. I've been in school, teaching school, so I missed a lot of TV. So we have like a roster of things this summer to go through.
Got it.
But yeah, but that's ridiculous, because I'm so tired of old white men policing the bodies of women, period. But it's all, and because we all know it's tied into racism, it's tied into sexism, it's tied into all these things. And you know, like I said in the last episode, like there's no law that dictates to men what they can or cannot do with their bodies. So why is it that like if it doesn't impact 100% of the population, then mind your fucking business. And I saw like somebody posted something, and they were like, well, you know, if pregnancy is like something inevitable, well then so should erectile dysfunction. Like, why do we get to like support you know, medicines and things to help with like Viagra and help with ED? Like, if you got limp dick, then that's God's will, right? So let it be. But now pregnancy, that has to be something that you can tell us what to do, and yet you won't help me care for this child after the fact. You're going to call me a welfare mom. You're going to call me all these things when I can't care for the child that you forced me to give birth to, even in cases of rape and incest, which again is jarring and scary as a woman and as a mother to a daughter, because there's a lot of fuck shit out here. It's just
a lot. Yeah, the statistics of all of those, I was looking at them earlier, and it's like you're not caring for the children. The education system's already poor. I think the in Georgia, the percentage of like women and obviously like black women is way higher. And then I was trying to go down this deep rabbit hole of like another conspiracy theory, but I got sidetracked. So I was like, I gotta get back into also that, because I believe all that shit.
Right. There's some truth in a little bit of everything. So I definitely am with you on that. But moving on, do you ladies have anything that you want to jump on either elevator for? Anything on your mind, spirit, good, bad, indifferent, that you want to share out?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna join y'all going down.
Listen, misery loves company.
It does. So let me join. Game of Thrones is the final season is tomorrow, and I mean the final episode is tomorrow, and I am devastated about it.
It really is ending. That's what I was confused at.
That's our number one on our summer roster. We've never watched an episode.
That's okay.
That's okay. Spoil away, because
I won't spoil it for you. It's the most phenomenal television show I have ever watched in my entire life. Actually, The Wire is a close
That's what he's gonna say.
second.
Oh,
But
The Wire is my favorite.
yeah, The Wire is
Ever.
amazing. Anyway, final season Game of Thrones. It hasn't been that great.
I've heard it's been a little anticlimactic.
How many episodes has it been? It's
Only
already over.
6. So like
wow.
this Sunday is the
But
last
they're
one.
long.
The Sunday is
Well,
they've
the
been
last
like
few.
an hour, like an hour and a half.
I'm
The
saying,
last couple.
Yeah, they've been longer than you.
But like the first or second episode I heard was only like 60 minutes, if that.
Yeah,
Like, so
correct.
it wasn't like 90 every episode.
Right.
Okay.
So the catch is that, and once you guys dig into it, you will see the difference. So George Martin, I think is his name. He was the writer of the books, and he never finished the book. He never finished the story.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so I think maybe season 5 or 6, it's the writers of HBO. And it's very different from the inception of the show.
Oh, so they moved away from there wasn't enough source material.
You just know that it's not his mind.
Got
it
it.
becomes very like all of these different
This sucks.
intricate.
As much as people
like,
are waiting for winter to fall.
Yeah,
and all
I
that.
know. I mean,
Like I stay off Twitter
it was
on Mondays.
good.
I be
Right,
like, because it's Sari and
because
whatever.
Cersei.
whatever. I be like, enough.
I know, because all I do on Twitter on Mondays is just
No,
retweet
everybody. No,
and
it's
like,
everybody. It's
all
not-
of
It
the
is. I
memes.
go on. Yeah, and that's the thing. I go on to because like I'm enough like in like enough. I'm enough well versed in like pop culture to know like I know Cersei, I know Dani,
Right, okay.
Dragon,
Right,
Jon Snow, Hodor, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and like.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so like
watch it.
No, I've never seen an episode, but like I pay because everybody else does. So it's like you gotta. I'm not actively putting my head in the sand about it, so therefore like you just osmosis, like you pick up on it.
Okay.
But I've heard like people being like frustrated, and I even heard that they were talking about how like the actors were kind of like when they found some like clips from them, and they were doing like press junkets, and they were like asking them about the writing and stuff, and like you could kind of tell on the actors' faces that this wasn't the best writing that they had to work with.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So they
it
all
just
feel
wasn't. I mean, but they had to end it. George, he done made so much goddamn coin. He's like, game of who?
Exactly.
You know?
Do
So
you think it would have been better if they just waited until he finished writing it? Like,
absolutely, I do. I just don't know that he was in that place because those books came out. Actually, I don't know when they came out, but he had time.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to finish it, he could have. So, y'all will enjoy it. I'm excited for you to watch it.
yeah, everyone tells me you gotta get past like episode
3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
season 1,
Yeah.
and then it.
Yeah.
I stopped at 3, so you guys
And
get
then
past
you'll
4.
be wanting to
Yeah.
commit suicide every
Okay.
week like the rest of us.
I'm looking forward to it because I'm into all things like science fiction, fantasy, and I mean, it still ultimately always comes in like the human condition, like family drama.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot of rape and incest I heard too.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's extra.
Oh yeah, I do remember that from like the first, the second episode. Yeah,
But then there's also just like like power struggles and all stuff like that. So like that, I mean, that's like The Wire too.
No, it's not like
I'm
The
the only person on earth that didn't love The Wire. Maybe because I have to always get like, oh, so you're from The Wire, and I'd be like, no, like, does that mean if you're from Sunset Park or whatever that movie was, like,
Yeah.
and I think because of that, like, I love it, but it's not my like. I would put like Martin over The Wire.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know what when y'all were
Martin?
saying it. I was like, what? Like Fresh Prince. Like, I was like, what is my favorite show? I don't know.
I like the writing in The Wire, even though. So I watch it probably like once a week, just different episodes.
Really? Wow. And still
And I still like learn new things or so season 2 was like the worst season to me.
for sure.
Yeah, it
for
was
sure.
But,
easily.
but now because it tied in Prop Joe and everything else.
Yeah.
I like season 2 now.
Okay.
The only thing I don't like now is that like until Snoop came, nobody had a Baltimore accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody truly had like a Baltimore accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which if you're not from
Chris
there, he
did-
doesn't really
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
But then like us living down there now for like over a decade, now it's like the fuck. Like how you like that is Baltimore right there. She
Yeah.
is Baltimore.
She's the epitome
She
of Baltimore.
is Baltimore.
Yeah.
But you know they had that like sexiest cities.
I heard about
people with
that.
the accents.
Accents, and
And
it's so
Baltimore was
Baltimore.
like number 14.
Oh,
so
Baltimore.
I'm moving
How?
my ponytail to the back.
How?
It was like number 14, and it was
Wait,
like
who
they
was that?
draw.
Unique. I thought Baltimore was number one.
No, it was like
it was like
Texas or
Oh
something.
yes, Texas.
That makes sense.
So
Like,
New
everybody
York
was-
was number 3.
Yeah,
I,
Okay.
I no, I disagree with that as well. Like,
there's nothing sexy about
there's
it.
nothing
with it
sexy
as
about a
well.
New York accent. There's nothing sexy about a Baltimore accent. There's nothing like I think Texas.
I
I
like
think like
Baltimore
Beyonce.
accents.
I think like a Southern
Yeah.
drawl. Like there's a lot of that too.
I do prefer a Southern accent over.
Yeah.
Then not too country though. I
Northeast.
can't do no.
Yeah, not too.
Yeah,
Not
like
when
not-
it sound like you chewing on something.
right.
Yeah.
Not too much.
like
but-
you want like. I was thinking like
Tip.
like so like somebody from New Orleans, but like not necessarily somebody from like the Bayou, like a Cajun, like you can't understand anything that they're saying.
Yeah. I
Like,
do love a New Orleans
Oh,
accent.
New Orleans,
though.
Baby,
yeah.
I love that one.
It's my favorite.
That
It's
I
not
love.
sexy. It's my favorite.
Baby, I like that's my favorite. New Orleans is my
Yeah.
favorite city on the planet. It's just
I love New Orleans.
it's just it's the most like best live music, food,
Yeah.
time. Like nobody's like it's just not pretentious. It's
Yeah.
just like you go in there to have a good ass time, party, drink, and then like you can do it at any time of day because like with the bars closed for like an hour for cleanup, and
Literally.
and then they
Yeah.
open back up, so you could be at 7:00 in the morning or 7:00 at night,
Yeah.
and you be fine.
Live my best life in New Orleans.
Exactly, because I've gone to Essence like how many times? Like this is my first year in like 5-6 years not
Popped out
going.
Tatum.
Oh,
Yes, I did have Tatum, and 3 months later I went to Essence because I deserve.
Right.
it.
I didn't say you did.
Deserve.
I'm just saying.
You deserve.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Get out of here with that.
Are we off the elevator? Do you want to
Oh,
join the party?
Sure, mine is definitely down
Okay.
as well.
Yes, we in the basement.
We are in the basement. I think I've just been having a very trying time at work, all over, and I work with young artists, so it's not as much as your kids, but I literally have to be like, hey, did you brush your teeth? Oh, you didn't? Why not? Why are your ankles ashy? Like,
Did you wash your legs?
oh, I know you didn't, because you didn't even brush your teeth, so I know you didn't even take a shower.
They don't be brushing their damn teeth.
No, we were literally, I said, what is that? Did you brush your teeth? No. So, and I think, internally they don't understand all of the BS that you have to go through.
Is that like you think it's like a creative thing? Because I feel like creatives sometimes feel like they.
No, they're just like dirty little boys. They're literally, that's it. No, they're literally
I mean,
just all
I teach
dirty little boys.
I teach dirty little boys, and they become
Yeah.
dirty little men. That's all.
Yeah,
Anonymous
they're
right
all,
now.
They're all dirty little
It's a
boys.
handoff. It's a warm handoff.
Yeah,
Here you go.
it is. It's like
I
that's
tried.
why- I'm like, that's why I was like, girl, I'm down there in the cellar with you. Or even like that. I think it was yesterday. I didn't even go to work because I was in the bed answering phone. I said, it's 1 and I haven't brushed my teeth because it was just like a phone call, an issue, a this, a that. And I was like, why can't things be just normal right now? So hopefully I'm hoping with the spring, maybe that'll change over for whatever reason. I don't know if it will, but I'm
Maybe they'll
hoping it
smell
will.
themselves and then realize that they
Listen,
need to
and
like
that's the
freshen
easy,
up.
and that's oddly the easiest part
It's-
of just being like, here's some lotion, and I just started keeping like deodorant and a spare lotion.
See, we do the same thing. Like I said, I got a 5
When you said
cabinet.
that, I said that I was like, no, I actually literally have like spare deodorant, lotion.
Yes, I have Q-tips,
Things like
hair
that.
ties,
Yeah.
and
so
like
sweet.
alcohol
Y'all so
wipes,
sweet.
Band-Aids, like
You just almost get used to this, like, y'all
Yeah.
gonna need it.
See,
So
like my kids, they just try to find any reason to like leave the room. So they were like, because they're like, can I go to the bathroom? Can I go to the nurse? I need a Band-Aid. What's bleeding?
right here.
What's
Yeah,
bleeding? I was
I
like,
got
go
it.
back. But you know what's sad? These motherfuckers don't know how to open a file cabinet because you know how like the little
the
thing,
thing you
with
hit,
with your
yeah.
thumb, and you have to kind of
wow.
push it in. So like September. Everybody, it was all I could hear in the back was like the sound of them like yanking
not
on it.
hitting the
and I'm
thing.
like,
Wow.
what you thumb? What you
Yeah.
thumb? And I'm like, y'all don't know how to open a file cabinet, but it's the year of our Lord 2019, and they don't.
yeah,
They don't know it now. It's May and they've caught on, but because I've showed them, because they haven't had to, they haven't had to know how to open a file cabinet in their lives.
Yeah.
which makes me feel very old. But
You are.
sir,
I'm saying you are. Like, you're old and wise and
I'm just gonna move.
Y'all
on.
be trying it. Like I'm gonna just say, I'm like, I feel triggered. Like I'm like, baby, I got this. Like,
Thank you. See, he always tries to play games because I'm like
Now
this
he got
much older.
6 eyes
I'm
looking at
old, exactly. This much older than him, and he tries to like play games, but he an old man too. Please, but now we can happily get off of this elevator, even though we've taken it all the way down. But
let's go to the top.
yes. So now we, of course, are going to move on to our relationship tip of the week.
Let's hear your amazing tip.
My tips are always amazing
Exactly.
and helpful.
I'm giving you that.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
No,
because
I'm doing the opposite of what you would do to me. So I'm gonna talk positive. I'm gonna give you these positive vibes. I know it's gonna be amazing.
You're so kind. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, my relationship tip of the week is, and when I jotted it down, I was like, "What about your friends?" I was thinking that. So it's always like something going on, either not necessarily with us, but with whoever, and or in passing, and something that again, TJ's little cousin kind of mentioned in passing made me think of this, which is simple, but I think it's one we haven't touched on before, which is about making sure that when you do get in a relationship, that you don't abandon your friends, that you kind of try and strike that balance. Now, of course, when like the relationship is new, everything's all, hot and heavy, and you're all kind of wrapped up in each other, there's going to be that window of time where like you fall off the radar a little bit, but then you kind of like come back to, join us here on the earth and like make sure that you kind of keep those relationships, because not to say that every relationship is going to go south, but in the in case that it does, that like you haven't like abandoned your friends, like don't be that friend in the circle. Like your circle of friends, you always have that one or two who they get a man or they get a girl, and then it's like,
facts.
Where are they? Then you can't ever find them.
Seen that before.
Yeah, so have I. Like and so it's really, really important. I just thought it was to convey that, because I just think it's something, again, like we haven't talked about explicitly, but making sure that you strike that balance, because inevitably, if it doesn't work out, your friends are going to be the ones to help pick up the pieces, and then you're going to be like trying to rejoin society and be like, oh, where y'all going? Or then people getting their feelings because they're like been left out,
right?
Because it's like, well, nah, like you for 6 months you've been like cooped up watching Game of Thrones with somebody, and so
which is the best thing
exactly. Excuse me. And so but it's about striking that balance, and especially as you get older, I feel like this is a very like young person thing, but then like once you kind of hit your stride and you start to realize that your life doesn't like hinge upon whether or not you're in a relationship, people get better at that. But then we also still know people, as we tiptoe into our 30s, that still kind of subscribe to this like philosophy or this practice, and it's like, nah, you gotta do better, because
So how much time is a adequate amount of time?
Like for like the honeymoon phase where they fall off the face of the
like,
earth. I mean, I think it varies
from
person to person, but like, I mean, I think when you're in like the getting to know you stage, and this is where I would ask you ladies, because like you've been hemming me up for 15 years, so I don't.
Who first?
hemming me up,
right? We're not doing this.
I'm just asking a question.
At your request, I called you.
It wasn't at my request.
It was at your request.
No,
Not mine.
my request was for me to get your number. I didn't say call me.
We have guests, ladies.
It's crazy.
So like, what do you think is like a sweet spot of like, okay, yeah, she's feeling him. I know that she's gonna be kind of a little, wrapped up a little bit, but still not like tiptoeing into like, okay, she's falling off the face of the earth. What do you think is like a sweet spot of time? Because there's always that beginning phase where like you're really like wrapped up in someone else,
right?
Or can be anyway.
I feel like the first few months after that is like,
and
I think it also depends on the progression of your relationship. So if you guys are spending a lot of time together, and I think for maybe like a month though, I went through that and I was like, oh, I just want to be with you. And then after that I was like, oh no, I got to get my life back.
Exactly.
And I was like canceling plans. Yeah, I was canceling plans with friends and was like, well, I just want to go home. But I feel like that those first like few months.
Yeah. So I was thinking like 2 to 3 in my mind.
Yeah, that's what I said, like literally 2 to 3. And then
Yeah.
after that it's like, all right, wait, because that's not even somebody like how I am.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, no, let me get back to what I was not even necessarily what I was doing before, but just finding the balance of having your own friendships and your relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
It's important. It's important to sustain your relationships because in a lot of cases, those people will be there before and they will be there after.
Yeah, we don't know if these niggas gonna work.
Exactly. And like
know.
you got
Or these women.
you got
Or these,
We don't
or
know
these
if these
women.
so you got to make sure that you're not, putting yourself on ice, putting your friends on ice because of whatever. So that's ultimately my relationship tip, because you just got to make sure you strike that balance. You can have that little sweet spot, that little 2 to 3 months of just, I don't want to go nowhere. I'm just, girl, I'm just, I'm going to stay at home.
Right.
And then you like rejoin the living and you strike that balance. And then, and
That's your insurance.
Yes.
You gotta make sure you still have those good relationships when the shit don't work out. And you
Right.
need somebody to vent to about it.
Right, I would say that, 'cause,
right, don't come around, yeah.
You still need somebody to vent to
Exactly,
about it.
because you can't be up under
everything won't be
somebody.
amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At all. I learned that the hard way too. So
Who's the hard way?
like when me and you was all up under each other, and it's like I feel like it's more excessive when you're young, like when you're very, very young.
Yeah.
So and then like I kind of had to be like, no, I need to like balance my time more.
I guess.
So what's your completely wonderful?
You don't believe that.
I do,
Be yourself.
from
I want you to be you.
the depths of my heart. I can't wait
You
to hear.
being so phony right
I
now.
can't wait to hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
Respect it. My tip is just for individuals. Being okay with being single. I think society has put these ideas that by a certain age you have to be in a relationship, or you have to have kids by a certain age, or marriage, and I think
Lies they tell.
shit. I used to want to have a child by 25, and
That wasn't happening.
shout out to
to me.
Danny for stopping that.
I put the kibosh on that real
Yeah,
quick.
real quick. Real quick.
I was like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
So,
Real quick,
Right.
because
you wanted to get married right away too.
that was just because that was the next step in life. But I'm speaking from my point of view, as far as we've been together for so long, that'd have been the next step. I mean, we could have waited longer, we could have done things differently, but I just think that we have to be okay with the way life is, and sometimes we're not. A lot of times we're not. We're competing with our friends. Our friend has this job and we're like, we should have this job, or they have this relationship, so we should have this relationship, and we may do things
That's a good point.
that puts us into a bad situation. You may date that person just because you want to be like the Jones, and he may not be good for you, or she may not be good for you, but you're just trying to keep up with what society wants for you. So you need to be okay with being with yourself first, and then
Being okay with yourself, I agree. That's true. I think
You agree?
that doesn't mean you win.
I didn't say that. I was saying, do you agree?
It's accurate. There.
Okay. I win.
But I think anyway. So I feel like that's a big one too, though, because a lot of times whenever we're like, oh, me and TJ, yeah, we're high school sweethearts, whatever, and like the first thing is like the knee jerk reaction is like, oh, I love that, I wish I, and we're like, like we are the exception, not the rule. Please don't think that like everything is like peachy keen over here, B think that there's some type of timeline that you have to be on for these things to happen. I know we all have things that we want to see happen at certain times, but even clearly with me and TJ, even in a relationship, in a marriage, we don't we had different timelines for ourselves. Like he proposed, we were 2000, I was 22 when he proposed, 22 to almost 23 or something like that.
Wow.
And he
22?
So I knew I wanted to marry him, but I was like, I'm not getting married right away. And so he was thinking oh, we're gonna get married the next year. And I was like, no. That's I'm like, A, we're poor. B, we have, And so we ended up being engaged for 3 years. And then once we got married in 2013, and he was like, okay, he was ready for a baby. And I was like, okay, no.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm like, I am changing career. Ended up changing careers. I was like, and and quite honestly, I was like, listen, for the first 41 weeks, everything's happening to me. I was like, there's no, nothing's happening to you. There's nothing, you change nothing about your day to day. And I was like, I'm not there yet. And so I think that's, definitely good. Being okay with your own timeline is definitely key. So I tip my hat, but that does not mean that you win.
That means I win.
Everything's not a competition, sir.
It's always a competition. It can always be a friendly competition.
Well, I'm not
How'd
friendly
you feel
competition.
about that? Did you think that, like, she didn't want, like, that she may have had doubts, like, I guess as far as the getting married thing? Because I know some people wouldn't feel comfortable with wanting an engagement that long.
Well, I don't think I necessarily cared about how long the engagement was. I guess for me, it was just like, okay, we got engaged. Let's start planning a wedding.
Right.
And then you start seeing like how much a wedding costs.
Right.
He didn't understand that world.
All of everything.
Yeah. Like,
He thought it was like a big party, and
Right.
I was like, no, that's like $75 a person.
Right.
And
Just for that part.
Yeah.
Just for that part.
And then, she wanted to do destination, but a lot of my family wouldn't have been there, and I'm like really big on family, so we had to come to like a meeting of the minds and just different things like that. So I think that kind of helped, okay, this makes sense, you know?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But it was never, and that's the thing too. It was never about not wanting to do the things. It was just like
Timeline.
The
slow down,
timing
like
of
pump
it,
your brakes.
yeah.
And I think honestly, like deep down, and this is definitely not shade, but like I just don't think he really understood. Like
At the time, no.
I think like I don't want to. I guess maybe society, like women are kind of like conditioned to like know about these things.
Yeah.
A lot of women like about weddings and baby, and so like or paying attention to those details. And so
Right.
that's I'm just like, no, this is not how this works.
Right.
So like this is why we have to wait. And so he learned when I said no. So
I learned when you said no.
I mean, that's true. I said no, and then that's how it went. But
Yes.
there's other things that you were right on the money about.
It's a give and take, so
All right, fair. You done?
I'm done. Are you done?
All right. So I'm gonna let you take it away with your the education segment of our podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So my word of the week is rancorous.
Okay.
Why'd you laugh?
No, go ahead.
Can you spell it?
Probably
Go ahead.
using the sentence.
No.
What do you mean?
I
No.
didn't use the sentence last week.
You asked me to spell it at the end of your definition. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me find the term that I like. It's characterized by bitterness or resentment. 16 miserable months of rancorous disputes.
Oh, child. 16 miserable months of rancorous. Rancorous. Okay. Let's see. RANCEROUS. Is it a
It's
K?
close.
Oh, that's how I spelled it too.
It's a O instead of an E.
Rancorous, not rancorous.
Oh, sorry. So did I pronounce it wrong?
Yeah,
Oh.
we're gonna go with that.
Sure.
So I still get it spelled on based on how you pronounced it. Thank you.
I don't think that's how it works.
Okay. It is.
So that's my word of the week.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your word of the week and correcting my spelling. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now, though, we've been chit-chatting with these lovely ladies. You've heard their wonderful, sultry voices for a little while now.
Yeah. Now it's about them.
But now we're going to switch gears, and we are going to formally introduce the, again, lovely ladies of the Oprah Rose podcast. So thank you both for being on.
Thank you for having us.
So glad. And I want to start by saying, y'all, that we have a lot of, like, paths that cross between, like, just things in common. So, obviously, one's not Oprah and one's not Rose, so there's Gigi and TT. So, again, let's make sure we're emphasizing that. But yes, I was saying that we have all these things in common. So, Gigi, you're from Indianapolis?
Indiana,
excuse me.
It's okay.
And then TT's from Baltimore. And Gigi and I are sorors, so we're both deltas. Ooh, my soror. And then of course TT is from Baltimore, living in New York, and we were from New York, and now we live in Baltimore. So yes, it's just a fair trade. And again, we just want to thank you guys so much for coming on and entertaining us.
We need this.
Get to pick your brains.
I'm learning so much already.
Same.
I'm like, is everything competition? Yes, it is. And I was like, kill him. And
I'm actually not that competitive. When it comes down to it, I'm not super competitive.
You're not.
Because it's just like, Like I feel
super
bad when
competitive
when it's
either,
like down to the wire and two teams
Yeah.
like, and
Oh, she does.
I feel bad for the other team. Like when what's his name cried the other day.
Joel Embiid.
I was so sad. I was like,
Oh my God.
Like I'm definitely I'm a Cancer. Like I'm a bleeding heart. So
Okay.
Someone got to win,
get
someone
it.
got to lose. Like
Look, G always talks about like my sun and my moon. We're really into astrology, but my Cancer been coming out a lot lately, and I need to suppress
your Cancer
her.
rising is-
Like she needs to go somewhere. Like I'm over it because I'm usually very competitive. Like if I play taboo with a 7-year-old cousin, I'm like, no,
Yeah, you
get
are.
him off the team. Nobody told him he's not on the team. Like I don't care.
that's how my mother.
yeah,
I'm super competitive.
We won't play with my mother-in-law.
Oh,
like
at all.
Yeah, that's me. I can't play.
she'd be like,
games.
let's play a game. Well, everybody, the
I
whole
can't play-
family would
I
be
won't play no
like,
games.
nah. Like,
Yeah,
no.
that's me. I can't really play games because it's going to turn into something else. So I was looking, I do look at everything as like, I'm like, oh no, you ain't going to win this one because you won 2 days ago.
So, and like that's the thing. Sometimes I think sometimes I don't like competition because I know I get too emotionally invested. So
Yeah.
then like, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay back here. I'm just not even
I'm
gonna-
learning that though. I literally, 4 days ago, I was like, I don't really have a lot of fight left in me for anything. Like,
That's funny.
not my trainer, not my job. Like, I can't argue with everyone. And I think I'm very combative. That's what I'm learning about myself.
Yeah.
But not to your friends.
Yeah, not to my friends.
You're combative to your friend, to your
I get
nigga.
it.
Yes.
Anybody else can get it.
Everybody else can get it. And I was like, I can't. I literally, and it was actually a conversation with my trainer, and I was like, and I was like, I'm not being dismissive because me not fighting back, I think people think it's dismissive. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm not being dismissive, but I heard you, but I just don't. I don't have a lot. I'm like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, this is very dismissive. I was like, no, but I just said it wasn't.
Yeah.
I know. I hear you. I validate you. Let's move on to the next set of things.
Yeah.
Like,
As my wife would say, it's not what you say, it's how you say
I'm
it.
working on
know
that.
you as a
So-
combative
So-
individual.
You know, the tone is
Because I can
everything.
understand. I can understand being like, like
That, and that's me. I'm
I
like,
don't. I don't want to continue.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, but
and then
see-
she feels like I'm being dismissive.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, my heart.
Yeah.
No, me.
What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
So
but
what-
that's me. I literally would say that, like, you got it.
water,
I don't really feel like
water.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I
love
always
it.
say is that when we're in sync and we're going,
Yeah,
we're flowing.
y'all gotta wave.
But when when waves are coming this way and waves are
Right,
coming another way,
yeah.
and then you got like a typhoon, a tsunami, whatever you want to call it, like
Hurricanes.
So, hurricanes. All think about that when water starts to clash with each
It's
other.
a lot of, it's a lot of growing and picking your battles.
It is.
Wow.
It's and like so like
Didi over there agreeing. he's a Cancer. His man a Cancer too.
Get it.
I was like, look, and I was like, mine is the elevator. That shit is just drop or it's like
Right.
top. Like, it
She's
ain't no
with
difference.
Another fire sign.
Yeah, so that's
yeah.
ours is literally like a combustion or not.
Yeah, I'm curious to see though. I'm curious to see how this whole thing works out with like our daughter too, because she's an Aries. So it's like, yeah, my sister's an Aries, so and I had an Aries baby. So it's
Wow.
like she's gonna be like, "Ma, why you crying?" I'm like, "Cause you just hurt my feelings." I just want to feel. And I already know that's gonna be like she's gonna be like 13, and that's just gonna be a conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like we, like I said, when we're together, we're great. When we're not, it could be very like, just.
I mean, that's just life in general, though.
It is, but see, the thing is, like,
I
you do
like
is
the-
like you say, like he does. So like one of his favorite words is sure. I hate the word sure now because of TJ because it's a
Oh my
verbal
God, I do.
shrug. It's a verbal shrug,
Yeah,
and I'm like, babe, what do you think of the?
Sure.
Sure.
I shorted somebody this morning and they had an
Like
attitude.
it's like because it's a verb. Literally,
is it?
it's a shrug in words.
I
It's
would've
like,
never
it's-
thought of that.
Me too. To me, it's an indifferent word. It's literally, it's just, but I don't like care either way. Like I literally responded short or something. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, I said yes, and they're like, "It's not." Yes.
But I think if someone is so like amped about something or
Yeah.
so like invested in something, and you hit them back with like
Sure.
sure,
What if I
it's
change
like
my tone?
it's deflating. And
What
I
if
think
I use like,
Wow.
sure.
exclamation
well,
mark.
at this point,
Yeah.
at this,
I'm like, I put
at
exclamation
this point
marks
in our
into
marriage,
mine.
I can't even be sure if you're sure what your short is because
wow.
because
I'm
TJ
gonna
likes
find a
to
new word for you.
TJ, see, the thing about it is that he plays both sides with some of his key words and phrases. So now it's like, are you really like excited? Or are you like, I'm saying this because I want you to be mad at me?
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy. man.
so I mean, it's your fault. So
You're right. I'll take that.
and so we knew that y'all were big on astrology. So I know that you're the Leo and you're the Scorpio, and my mama's a Scorpio.
Oh, God bless her.
She a piece of work too. Y'all are something else to be.
Heart of gold.
Heart of gold, but like hard exterior
Right,
too.
yeah.
Like my mom, at least my mom.
Shields.
Yeah,
She got a bunker.
Lots of layers.
Ooh, bunker.
Yeah. She'll do anything for anyone,
yeah,
but
she
she's
would.
gonna curse you out as she does it. Like, didn't I fucking tell you? As she like, you know.
I'm like Savoy. It's literally.
That's
She's not
definitely
like that, but I
Savoy.
was thinking like.
Yeah. I'm like, Ma, can you go pick up the baby, bitch? I'm getting my princess. I'm on my way, but I'm like,
Right, like, do I have to go through all that?
Right. I had to be a bitch though for you to go get her.
Yeah, she's not like that.
Yeah.
She's very like she's super like friendly and like you know she doesn't do all that. But
I have
the
a
other one I
Libra
know.
rising. Maybe that's that.
maybe.
part.
My
I
dad
don't
was a
know.
Libra, so those are like definitely one of my most favorite signs because he was like, so like again, think about it. So me growing up, Cancer, with an Aries older sister and a Scorpio mama. So my Libra daddy was my saving grace.
I was about to
the
say, he just
balance.
balanced
He was
all
like,
that out.
he was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, "Daddy, oh my God," you know. So that was like my man, $100,000 because my mom and my sister used to like make me crazy because I like they were so tough and I was like so not. So,
That is interesting because I think
is.
everybody in my sister, my mother is a Virgo. And so that's where I know I get like everything has to be like
oh yeah.
together and right.
And like Virgos will tell you all about how you wrong.
And,
And,
yeah,
right.
but that's me, and like,
Yeah.
and that's still me. And my sister is a Sag, so it's just. I think when people see our dynamic, sometimes they're like, "Do y'all even like each other?" And for me,
That's
it's
what
very
they-
normal.
yeah.
Like we're just a combative family.
That's so like me, like like my mother, my mother and my sister and I, like the way, like my sister and I, like the way we joke with our mom, and some people be like, "How do y'all talk?" I'm like, no,
Everybody
this is,
says that.
Like this is not disrespectful.
Yeah.
This is how we just interact
Everybody
with each
says
other.
that. Yeah, to
you know,
me.
my mother would be like, "You two," she's like, "This is elder abuse. You're always picking on me," and it's I'm like, you raised us, so
Right.
what do you want?
Elder abuse.
So X actually like ask a question, right? So well, we like to start with a little like thought-provoking icebreaker for folks when we have guests. If you could think of, if it's not either the most recent or in all history of you hearing things, what is the kindest or wisest thing a partner or person has ever told you? So if you think about it, it's a real head scratcher, I know.
You're like, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes people could think of like things that more recently happened, but people drop gems in our lives, and so it's always curious, especially like if it's something you got from like someone that you dated. But if it's not someone you dated, you can just give like a person, your mama, your best friend, your cousin. Is anything like?
Yeah, there was a guy that I dated on and off for like 8 years, and I think that during our last on time, he said something to me. I was just in a really like bad place mentally. I was very, very sad. I think I was going like through depression or something. And we were talking, and he was just like, I don't understand why you don't know and why you can't see how amazing you are. I really need for you to just like reel yourself in. And it was, I think there I was like, okay, I really kind of gotta, you know, get it together. But and that because I didn't think of myself like that, especially in that moment, it was refreshing to hear someone who I was intimate with and who I cared about kind of remind me of that. So
It's important. Sometimes you gotta see yourself the way others see you, and realize like those two things don't have to be like mutually exclusive. Like they actually can be like we are the same person. Like I'm she is me. Like how other people see it. That's dope. I like that. I appreciate it.
Tearful. I guess mine would be in my current relationship, and like I said, we're both fire signs, so it's a lot there daily.
Yes.
But I think I think one thing he said to me one time was just like, I admire you. And I was like, well, what, in my head, I'm like, what is there to be admired about? And I'm so damn mean and nasty all the time. And you know, it was just like, you show up every day and you're all of these things to all of these people, where in my head, I'm like, oh, I didn't even think you saw this. Like everything that I go through. So sometimes, again, like you said, you need those reminders to kind of like bring it back and reset and refocus.
Oh, I love that. Like, I think it's important and necessary, and I think that it's something that I also seek, because sometimes I do seek validation from TJ, which like I know deep down you kind of like shouldn't, it's like I don't need nobody to justify me, blah blah blah. But when you're in those relationships, even if it's just it's forever, or if it's just for a season or whatever, like obviously if I'm being close with you, then that means that like your opinion, like your thoughts matter, and your thoughts of me matter.
Absolutely.
So that's something that like I definitely like even try to communicate to him sometimes, where I'm like, I really care what you think. So when you like are dismissive, or you don't like something I'm saying or doing, then I'm like, it's like like it's a little bit more like it stings a little bit more. But then when I do get like like just before y'all got here, and he was like, oh, I see you girls popping, blah blah, and I was like, really? Thanks. I was like,
it matters. It does. It really does. Because I think I'm all the love languages. I read that the other day.
What's your top
one
two?
that I think it was
acts of service.
Yeah, acts of service.
Same.
That one. Like, help me. Just don't even get me started.
Take out the trash.
Don't even get me started. But
that
it is literally so big for me. But I think
that's my second one.
The acts of service,
affirmation.
Words of affirmation. That's my second one. I'm acts
I don't
of
remember what my second. I told you I'm all of them. I don't have braids right now because he said something about the new growth. I said, oh my god. I was like, we really talking about my new growth and my braids? I was like, I was taking them out this weekend, and he was like, thank God. I said, the braids came out an hour later. Okay, 1 hour. I was like,
tell me how you really feel.
I was in there like snip, snip.
Right.
Like, oh god. I said, oh my god.
But and that's the thing though, because you're just like, and that's one thing. Like acts of service, words of affirmation, lighten my load, lighten my load,
literally lighten my. I think verbatim.
And tell me and talk to me nice.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. Like just and like and even I will say this, it translates at work too, because I had a conversation with my principal a couple weeks ago, and I talked to him about how like sometimes his communication with like, and I mean, he and I have a great working relationship, but I'm kind of like Miss Congeniality at my job. So it's like I talk to all the other teachers and I can pick up on vibes and stuff, and people say things, and I'm like, I think some things aren't translating with other people as well. And and he was like, he's like, well, I try to like randomly buy lunch for the staff and this and that. And I said, well, for me, I said, a free lunch is nice. I said, but like I feel more validated when you shout me out like in an email to like the rest of the staff. I'm like, that makes me feel seen. And so we actually talked about it, and we're gonna like make the staff kind of I don't know if they have like a work love language thing, but same thing.
You cross over.
It definitely does.
They definitely do. They spill over into your personal and your career.
Yeah,
and I love that you even had that conversation with him, because I feel like that's hard to be open with, like a principal or someone.
I went out on a limb. I talked to my sister, she's an assistant principal in Baltimore City, so I was kind of like ran it past her. She was like, she encouraged me to do it. She said because she's like she thinks that like more superiors, bosses, managers would appreciate that more. From their staff, because it's like sometimes you can't do better if you don't know better.
Right. And is he a man?
He is.
And they dumb, so you just need to be reminded.
Exactly.
On things.
That's terrible.
I've just come to the conclusion
Did you say that some men are dumb?
I have come to I stand by my statements. He said I said what I said, and men are dumb. I've just
it's not
all
your
of us.
forte. No offense. Try to be a little nicer.
It's about nuance.
It's about men are dumb.
Sometimes it just is what it is, babe. I mean, I don't think you're dumb. I think sometimes
I feel like you're placating me right now.
I love you, boo.
Y'all are so polite to each other.
What?
Y'all are.
No.
From what I'm watching on this side of the table.
Right. So you know what? We're playing a little bit nicer, because I think we last few episodes we was a little spicy with each other, and I don't know if it was like translating well with some of our listeners, so we're working on doing a little bit better. But either side of us is very authentic. Like we can be very sweet with each other, and sometimes we be real spicy with each other.
Well, I'm enjoying the sweetness.
Thank you. We'll try, but then a little bit more might come. But sometimes I think it comes out more when it's just he and I, because like
they're like,
I'm waiting for you to record all this other stuff. But we're not gonna get on that.
Yeah, we're not gonna be.
But how do you guys do that? Like, I mean, living together and then recording, and then still having to like hear each other on the show, and
I mean, sometimes
unbiased feedback.
So for me, it's kind of like therapeutic.
It is.
It forces us to talk, because we've been together for so long. We can literally like be in the same house in different rooms, not
speaking, like two ships passing in the night.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it forces us to have to converse and have to ask those questions, and it allows us to be open and honest. So sometimes, like, I set a reminder on my phone to always send her a compliment just because she says she likes those things.
Oh my God! Then you're not dumb. I take back my statement.
Hey.
Yeah,
But at
we
the same
gotta
time,
do
he has
it.
to remind himself to give me a compliment.
But listen,
Baby steps.
Baby
if it
steps.
helps.
That's what she likes.
Well,
So
Thursday
I
has
have
come
to
and
be
gone, and I
mindful.
did not get one. Another day that reminders for.
Well,
Did you
all
hit
I
the
said was
snooze button on it?
that I set a reminder.
Did you
Did I give you a compliment today?
Oh, so it's like rollover minutes.
No.
Okay.
No, it's just
Once a week.
I set it for Thursday, but I may give it to you on a Wednesday.
Okay, I'll let it go.
First off, I used to buy her flowers,
Stop.
Uh-oh.
and then she forgot that I even bought them. She didn't say thank you or nothing, so they stopped.
And I love my man buys me
I
flowers.
love
'cause
flowers. I love
Yeah,
that
I
he
do
bought me
too.
I
flowers.
used to buy them.
One
Put them
time,
there.
I came in the house
2
and
weeks in a
like
row.
was discombobulated, and
Her
I
life
like
was just.
my life was in disarray,
Oh,
and
oh.
so I walked past them on the table and didn't say anything, and then that's when they stopped
Hey, listen.
because I didn't say, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
Flo,
Oh my God,
birthday."
yeah. It happened to me 3 weeks ago, and I haven't gotten flowers since because I was literally in mine. I was like, I said thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like I can't get a minute. 'Cause maybe I had to pee. Like you don't even know.
Right.
Nah, definitely.
But
I
like-
waited.
Oh, so
I
you
was
was
over
fine.
there.
Men are I think as much as we need like the validation in those words,
We
like
need
men
validation.
do as well.
They need their ego stroked so
sometimes
much.
more, I feel
I don't know
like.
if it's an ego thing, but it's
It
just
is.
no. We like to know that we're doing right. We like to know that we're making you happy.
Well, I've
so,
been telling you for a year and a half that you've been doing right with those flowers, and I still ain't get no flowers since then. That's what I'm saying. So, just take
when you go for your doctorate, I got you.
Put another reminder in your phone.
All right.
Add me,
Right,
Like,
two
just give
reminders.
me like. You
With
can
the
give me like a
compliment, add
petal,
the
something. We can even build back up. Start with a stem.
Oh my God,
Okay.
not a petal.
Give me a seed. We can plant something. I don't know.
All right.
But
I'll work on it. I'll think about it. I'll speak to upper management.
whatever.
I gotta see I gotta see how they feel.
Whatever.
They've been burned too many times by you. You know what I mean? They may not want to give you flowers again. Be happy with the
Oh
compliment.
wait, are you talking about when I almost burned the flowers this week?
No.
Oh wait.
What?
Oh yeah, I was. Forgive me.
She did
y'all.
almost burn flowers.
I did hear that.
Yeah. So I thought you were trying to shame me about
No,
that.
I
It was
wasn't.
a lot going on at work. So yes,
was.
I did almost burn the house down, but we've moved on.
You move past it.
Exactly.
That's all that
Mistakes
matters.
happen. But I think our next question actually kind of circles back around to our little zodiac.
It does. So what are your favorite sign to date? And what is your least favorite?
In your past. You can
Y'all
say,
gonna get.
no, I'm saying, so don't say.
Right.
So right now your fire sign is your favorite.
Sorry, I'm like.
We don't want to get nobody in trouble.
I have this like look on my face. And it's like. I will say like Libras are very calming,
Okay.
and the balance, but at the same time, like having another Aries like fire sign does. I don't want to say I guess it's like spice, but it is somebody that can match it. That
Gotcha.
I know that like okay, we can do this, and I think we'll be fine. Sort
Yeah.
of. But like I can also be very honest and forthcoming because that's just how we are. It's just like douche.
Yes, definitely. So it's like maybe like that other fire sign is like they're time enough for you. Like,
Yeah,
like, you know,
exactly.
they're not gonna like crumble when you're like
When you say exactly when I say something
very direct
yeah.
things and everything.
And I
like
can say it very honest and direct, and know that you're not. I mean, you are going to take it away, but we could still always try to work through
exactly.
it.
Yeah, somebody else might cave.
Right, exactly. Like no shade to cancers. It's no because
We are
is a
sensitive.
Cancer. Y'all are. I have a Cancer friend, and that's like you got to I can't tiptoe. Like I
Yeah.
literally, I can't do that in friendships, like in relationships, and anything. So I need to be very honest and direct. I couldn't do that in my interpersonal, like with my man.
See, luckily enough, I haven't had to like tiptoe with Dani, but maybe because I'm making her tougher.
Right.
I am tougher than what I used to be, but I think you just chose not to tiptoe. Not that you didn't have to tiptoe. Like there's definitely times where like you've like it was like stab, jab, bleed. Like
Well, I'm saying I'm giving you who I am, so it's either you want to take that or you're not going to.
I know, and it has
so that's what I'm
stuff- it
saying.
has
Like
stuffed me up.
tiptoe would be like, okay, I know if I do this, it's going to hurt her feelings. So I'm not gonna do it, or I'm not gonna tell her that I'm
He
gonna
like
do
just
it.
hurt her feelings. Like
No, I'd rather be open and honest.
yeah, but
It's just for us. That's what I said for me.
my sister is like that with me to an extent. Like because she's an Aries, so we're 10 years apart. So I'm very much like I look up to her because she's my big sister. Period. But then you incorporate that stuff too, and she'll say sometimes she's like, okay, I know I have to say this, but I'm saying it to Dani, so I'm gonna like. She's still gonna get her message across, but she will tailor a little bit of what she has to say to me. But that's also like you. But we do that with anybody that we care about sometimes. That we're not always gonna be like, as maybe. I'm not saying that for the sake of like not getting the message. No.
So I'm
I'm
working.
big on like how I bring information to people and like.
It's same. I have to be honest. I'm working on it.
I'm just. It is what it is. Like.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's get through it. If you're gonna love me, you're gonna love me regardless.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're not. But
It's good that you're aware and working on it. You know,
I mean, you have to be mindful and, you know. I mean, again, it's not necessarily with Dani, but you know, I may have like family who may not take my sense of humor or take what I say. So it's like, how do I say it? Or sometimes I may not say what I want to say because it's like. They're going to be like, TJ's an asshole.
Not take it. I mean, that's even me at work. I had a coworker that said something. He's like, well, I know you hate me. I said, first, I don't hate anybody. He's like, well, you're always so spicy. And I was like, that's just me.
Right.
Like, I literally was like, that's me. I don't really, like, how you get it is how you get it.
Yeah.
Kind of, but I really, like, all jokes aside, I am working on it. Because I've realized my delivery is not always the best.
I can understand that.
And that's TJ. Like,
That's Dani's favorite word for me. That's her favorite, like...
Because when you come back to me, you be like, so-and-so got mad at me because I said this. And I was like, well, how did you tell him? Well, I said it this XYZ. I said, well, that's because you said it like an asshole. And I'm like,
I didn't even mean it like that.
But I'm like, I didn't tell, maybe that's why I'm in your life. Because I'm like you said it like a total dick. Like, that's why. I'm like, no one, I was like, I would expect them to be mad at you too. But, you know.
People are just sensitive.
They are.
It's true.
But learning, you know?
It's not what you say, it's
being
how
mindful.
you say it. Sometimes you need to direct, you need to just rip the Band-Aid off, and sometimes you gotta be a little, you gotta soft with it.
Into it.
You gotta put a little padding in there.
Right.
So, you know, just because everybody's feelings matter, guys. Come on. Nah.
I heard that.
I'm like, fuck your feelings.
So, podcast question, ladies. So, one thing in doing our homework, we listened to our very first episode.
Oh, woof! I have
Wow.
to go to the bathroom.
So it was like 2016, and we know that the podcast is for Oprah Winfrey, and then Rose is from Amber Rose. And so looking over the last 2016, so that's 3 years now. Do you ladies feel as strongly about both women as you did then, and like have?
Ooh.
So I'm just curious because like that's saying a lot to take the two very like powerful women in very different ways and bringing their names together to represent you all or the platform you have. But like 3 years, a lot happens. So just curious as to like how do you ladies feel about those ladies in 2019?
Yeah, I would say that I still feel equally related or connected to them for obviously two totally different reasons. I don't agree with everything either person does. Particularly more Amber, but one thing I love about her is just she is herself unapologetically, and she's very, very comfortable in her skin. And that is always a message that needs to be, reinforced. And something that I always, T and I always try to be, I lost my train of thought. But
I think ourselves, and I think it's also
Yeah.
part of their qualities. Like, like you said, the two separate people. Like, I don't really specifically like understand the slut walk. Do I agree with Oprah doing the Michael Jackson?
Right.
stuff?
Yeah.
Like, no, but like you said, Amber being authentically like herself, whether you take it or leave it. Yes. Like all of the good that Oprah has done. Yes. So I guess, we're taking the positive qualities of both of them.
Cool.
But not necessarily, again, their whole like selves. Like nothing they do is wrong.
Yes.
Like definitely not that.
That's good. I like that because that was something I thought about because I'm like,
Wait,
yeah,
I want to answer that last question.
Wait, what?
The Zodiac one.
yeah, the least and most favorite signs.
Yeah.
Oh, you was I just realized that you didn't answer.
It's such a good question. It's such a good question.
Go
I love
right ahead.
it. I don't, and I think I probably dated all the zodiacs, but I'm with an Aries now, and we I think are the least compatible, and I've read that multiple times. So that's been a very interesting dynamic, I think, to tackle in general. But it is the most healthiest relationship that I've ever been in.
The Aries one.
Yes, my existing relationship.
Okay.
I've never felt more protected, more loved, which is important. I think as far as least favorite to date, probably a Leo.
Okay.
Had the best sex with Tauruses.
True.
And had great just overall chemistry with Virgos. So it's been
It's like
a blast.
It's
It's been a blast.
I like that.
What about the Pisces? Just have to ask, you know.
I had
Girl.
my first boyfriend was a Pisces.
You still sweet to him?
We're so cool.
All right, cool.
Like, maybe
Forever
at
friends.
Christmas.
Forever friends.
Friends.
Like,
You know?
yeah. Yep. Forever friends.
My least favorite sign is a Pisces. My most favorite sign is also a Pisces because
That's
all
so
you know.
funny.
it's only, same for you.
Yeah.
nigga? So, like, Cancer's, that's it. All of it. All of this. Enjoy it. Bask in it.
You got it.
I did another verbal shrug
You
type
got
of
it.
answer.
I just can't win.
You just, I don't know. And I wanted to ask that question because people obviously, like, we had a lot of zodiac talk this episode, but
Right.
I think there is something that said, like, everybody can't be wrong about, like, okay, people that are born around this time kind of share these kind of like similar traits, and
Right.
I don't. Some people like say, oh, is it the placebo effect? Not placebo effect, but just kind of like, oh, is it all in your head? But,
right.
But at the
I
same
get it.
time, I'm like, I look at it now and like I see like my sister and then I see my daughter, and they're 3 days apart. And
It's real.
they love each other down, but they also like beef with each other all the time because they're the same person.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And like, Tatum will like run up and like even when she was here when y'all came in and she like said hi to my sister will come in and she'll be like, look, and keep going. And then like 20 minutes later,
Is that an Aries thing?
they're like they'll kind of like get back together with each
Right.
other. But I laugh because I'm like, it's gotta be, there's something kismet about it, like coming together.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But our boyfriends are so different.
They are.
But they're both Aries, but they're both
They're a
different.
day apart. Mhm.
They're a day apart, and they
Yeah.
are so like mine is just loud. Like
Yeah.
I don't have any other word.
He's more extrovert. My
And he
boyfriend
thinks he's
is
an
more-
introvert.
Well, technically, I heard it's how you gain your energy back.
Oh.
Is like
Is
the
that
correct. But I don't know that that's
Right.
true.
I mean,
either.
but then upbringing and
Right.
all those things like that too, they play a part. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it's not kind of like black and white. Like it's
Yeah.
just, but it
true.
contributes to
Yeah.
who you are. So,
But like at the core and root of things, they're very much alike.
Oh,
It's
okay.
weird.
He's just not
Yeah.
loud. It's like let me
No,
stop.
he's pretty loud now.
like, I'm trying to think, what's an area like? Okay, do both of them? They might be. You get into an argument and then like 5 minutes later they're not mad anymore and they're like, why are you mad? Is that because that's something like my sister does all the time?
No,
Yeah,
you
no.
stay mad.
Me too. I was like, I wish. Shit.
Yeah. So,
Stay
I'm
mad.
talking about Aries women.
maybe that's a different.
And that's
Oh,
also
that could be
different.
different.
Yeah, because men and women anytime is definitely different. Because my sister and like a lot of Aries and people I know, they be like, that was 5 minutes ago. Like, why are we still mad about this? Like, why? Like, I'm over it. Like, and I'm like, I am still triggered. Like, I'm still upset, and it move right on. But we'll see.
With the podcast,
Oh, yes.
what has been your highs and your lows?
So
Like, as far as just like, creating the show and like what bumps have y'all hit that was like, I know for me, like I've had times where I'm like, do I want to continue this? But then I've had times where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do the next episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the highs are, like you said, what you said before, I think it is therapeutic to always hear other people's, especially with guests, I think, to always hear other people's perspectives on things. And the lows, I think it is hard, you know, like, geez, obviously, like, a new mom, and a busy work schedule, like, I have a busy work schedule, like, and then I think just finding, like, the creativity sometimes to, like, it's like, what are we going to talk about? And some days you're just like, I don't know, like, I'm talked out, you know, like.
We've been doing it for so long. 3.5 years. So
yeah, sometimes I think that's the challenging part.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree with that, because like for us, I think you kind of asked us too, like, about, you know, being like a couple doing this, and one thing sometimes too is like you feel all talked out, or like life, you know, you're like, I'm drained, like I don't want to talk to like my bread and butter is talking,
exactly,
right? So it's like I don't
right.
want to talk anymore. I want to take a nap, and like, but I do agree it's therapeutic, and then like on our end too, it's like there have been episodes where we were like beefing, like going for the jugular before, and then we hit play or hit record. I keep saying play, hit record. And because we kind of have to like play nice, we end up like, it ends up going from playing nice to like being nice. And it's kind of like
beautiful.
And like moving past it. And then there are a few times where like it kind of translates and the episode's not the best because like one of us or both of us are annoyed, and it's just like, no.
But I think that's honest, you know, that's good. Like, nothing is ever going to be all the way together. And I don't think people want you to, like, fake the funk necessarily. Like, and I couldn't even do that, honestly. We would be on air like, well, what you pissed me the fuck off because what you said, I would not even know how to, like, get on board and have a smooth episode. I couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we've had times where we've had to been like he's like hit stop, and he was like, I'm scrapping this whole shit. Like this is terrible.
Yeah.
And like maybe one or two times, I think we were like, we're just not gonna put out an episode.
Yeah,
like, it's just not.
That's real.
It's
it is.
You know, and like it. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, ebbs and flows. It definitely. But I've definitely been there where I'm like, what are we going to talk about? Like, you know, what are we gonna figure out? Like,
we always talk about like what we're gonna argue about, like, because sometimes we don't have anything to argue about, like, or quarrel about. It's just, or like sometimes he and I are on the same side, maybe but you know, once we told ourselves that like maybe he and I are on the same side of things, so we're like arguing with like the opposing side of people's opinions out there listening, then that can be it. It's like, it's not always what he and I differ on, even though we have different opinions sometimes,
or we can still agree on something but just have different views on what we're agreeing on. You know,
so one thing that when in doing again our homework was like, we know that the goal of your show is about this balance and voice for women who are spiritually and sexually liberated. And again, and this is like a question that comes from like, okay, 3.5 years ago to present day, if you had to say like on this like sliding scale spectrum of sexual liberation and spiritual liberation and everything in between, where do you think you fall today, each of you?
Now, oh gosh. So I mean, I think, you know, when we started, it was very much like niggas ain't shit. Every you know, the first 62 episodes. We were that.
We picked up on some trends.
Definitely a trend.
Y'all was single. Y'all were upset.
Exactly. It was just single and mad.
We had time.
And I think, you know, we always say it's like a diary, so to speak, of like going back and listening to those past episodes. But now, you know, like us both being in relationships, like we don't have those same like stories. That's why like certain things, you know, sometimes we're like, oh, when we have like listener letters, it's like the Oprah Rose show thanks you, because we don't have like crazy stories anymore.
They get new problems.
Exactly. You have like all new problems with like one person. I mean, so that's definitely like a change. But then I think even something that you said earlier would have me thinking about like, it's okay to be single. I actually realized that in a relationship. Like, I don't think either way you slice it, like, it's not really easy. Like, when you're single, you're like, I just want to be in a relationship.
Right.
Some days when you're in a relationship, you want to be single. Right. But then I think you come to terms like, but it's okay to be single. Or like you said, not put these like age limits on, like, because I was always that person. I was like, by 30 I'm gonna have 2 kids and be married, and that obviously has not happened. I'm not sure if I want to. Like, it's all these things that that have literally just changed as I've grown.
So definitely
I agree. I will forever be sexually liberated because I think once you liberate yourself, you just are free. But now definitely more targeting being spiritually liberated, because when you are in a relationship and you're a parent, you look at yourself a lot more than what you really have to when you're single. You know, you're much more invested in the relationships that you have. Being a mom is, how can I be the best person for this person that I am now responsible for? So it's challenging me and encouraging me to be more spiritually liberated in every spectrum, you know, whether it's a relationship with God, whether it's being more connected to you internally, who, if you believe, is also God, you know. That's been the journey for me more now than 3.5 years ago.
Definitely. And that's definitely a powerful thing, because you want to, whenever children or of either of your own or like nieces, nephews, or like godchildren, like people, when you or people that matter to you have kids, like I feel like sometimes you want to be like the best version of yourself to model for them and to like show them. And like, you know, one thing, you know, in having a child is like, and kind of like being a teacher too, when working with children, one thing I'm always like, I wish I could tell like my students, because since they're older, like, oh my God, like y'all are in such a rush for all of these things, and I'm like, and the shit is whack. Like adulting is so whack. It's so whack. I'm like, I said, you know, I read this thing one time, and they were like, when you're young, you have the time and energy, but you don't have the money. And then when you're like our age, you have kind of like the energy and the money, but you don't have the time sometimes. And then it's just like when you are much older, you have like the money and the time, but you don't have the energy. And so it's like trying to like instill that and show my kids like, y'all, like enjoy youth, enjoy being young.
You want to be grown so bad.
And they have nothing to work towards, nothing to look forward to. I'm like, y'all are so pressed about the wrong shit. And I'm like, all you're gonna do is be completely just uninspired, unenchanted by adulthood. I was like, and you have bills. Like that's all it is. I'm like, you're not even like, oh, I can go out and stay out late because you're trying to like stay out late now or whatever. And then,
but who's forcing them to be kids? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I sure the hell am. I'm trying. Like, you know, it happens in moments and stuff. Like it'll be those glimpses of like, you know, kids who like don't really like hang with each other. Not that they're like not friends, but they just don't. They roll with different groups, and then I take them to our like little game room downstairs in our school, and all of a sudden now everybody wants to play Dance Dance Revolution, and now everybody is just acting like they're 13. Like now everybody, doesn't matter what crew you roll with, but everybody's just trying to like dance to like Billie Jean and like coordinate and do all that stuff. And I'm like, I said, you see how much fun it is? You see how much like when their guards are down? Yeah. And I'm like, you see how much fun you're having when you're not worried about everything else and like how you look.
You got the rest of your life to worry.
Exactly. Right? And then, you know, and then with Tatum, it's also like I wish I could just I just want to be like the best version of myself for her, so that way the insecurities and the stress and the heartache and the troubles and all the stuff like that I experience, even though she's gonna have them regardless, her own batch of these things, at least I'm like, you know, I can try to like, you know, combat some of those things too. Right. But do you, as going from women who were single at the beginning of your podcast and now who are both in relationships now, anywhere along that timeline even before the podcast, did that and when you use y'all word from your website, the juxtaposition, I love that word, has it ever created issues for you guys in like building a relationship with somebody or like sustaining a relationship, where they were like, you're either too much for me on one end or not enough for me on the other? Like, how has that ever worked?
I mean, yes, that has come up, but because they felt that way, I couldn't, because all I know how to be is me, and I'm very comfortable with that, and so it was just like, all right, cool. You know, I'm not
on to the next.
Yeah, that was what you saw when you liked me. Now you with me, and it's a problem. So
that they can change you.
Yeah.
Sometimes people think the novelty
Hell
wears
no.
off.
Yeah, like
Right.
Yeah. How about you?
yeah, no, not. I don't think ever being like. I'm a lot. I know that, and I just if you meet me, you know, I've had to accept that.
Yeah.
So you kind of know what you're getting into, but like, I mean, my boyfriend used to listen to the show, like. He doesn't listen anymore.
Yeah.
I think things got a little triggering. And then it's like, and I told him, like, I'm also going to be honest. Like, I'm not going to, like, I'm not going to say anything super crazy and disrespectful. But it's going to be filtered, but it's also not, I'm not going to just, like, do everything with, like, this shield and not say certain things. Yeah. So,
that's fair.
Yeah, so he
You
stopped
wouldn't be
listening. Yeah, like, needless to say.
Yes.
He just stopped
So
listening.
he adjusted accordingly.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Adjust accordingly.
Fair enough. But anyway,
I don't listen.
Okay.
I thought you was getting ready to say something.
I thought you were going to ask the next question. You're supposed to read my mind.
I'm letting you do it.
Because the next question is yours, so that's why I was
sure.
letting you take it from. I was teeing you up.
Thank you. So the question was, how important is sex for your relationship? And I asked because me in my 20s versus me in my 30s is like way different. Like that's pretty much all I thought about, you know what I mean? And then, you know, having a baby, going through school, just life in general, it didn't become as important to me. It's still important, don't get me wrong, but it's not as important as it once was. And just wanted to see, like, does that change? Is that like an age thing or a person thing, or
Has it even changed for you all?
Yeah, it has.
Okay.
I definitely don't have as much sex as I used to. And, you know, I think we would attribute that to just, like, life. Like, you, and obviously y'all know because y'all are married, so y'all probably went through a phase where after being married, you have a dry spell or whatever, and then you have to work on repairing that. Like, hey, we aren't sleeping together. Like, what's happening? And then you have a baby. And your body's different, and your sex drive may be different, and your schedule is different, and there's so many things that you have to. Oh God, Jesus, your sleep is different, so you don't even have any energy, and then you hate the way you look, so you don't feel sexy. So there's just like all of these different like layers that you now have to combat. When before it was just like, I like you, you like me, we have good sex, let's go. You know, so it is very different. It's something that my boyfriend and I still have to actively work on. We haven't mastered that. We haven't, you know.
We haven't either.
Okay, you know.
And we're 2 years in, so, you know.
Okay.
But everybody moves at their different pace, so hold out hope.
I think I had to learn more. I think I was more of the
asshole.
Why gotta be an asshole? I hate that.
Okay.
I hate that word, Danielle.
Okay, I apologize.
Let's use a different word.
Let's prick.
Anyway, I had to mature more. Okay. I think for me, it was just kind of understanding and seeing what my wife was going through and being able to be like, okay, maybe what I'm asking for isn't going to work, or how I'm asking for it, or what's going on. Am I doing enough? Like, am I helping her enough so that way she can have the energy, so that way she can assist?
Acts of service.
Yes. So, so that was like my learning experience. I don't think everyone sees that. But now, like, when I speak to my friends and they're talking about, you know, having kids and all the other stuff, I have like my point of view. Like, make sure that if you're planning on have kids, like, you have something solid. Because for me, I feel like a child can ruin a relationship, and not in a negative way, as far as like don't have children, but if you're not prepared, to make these sacrifices, then because like I said, sleeping, like when Danny went away to New Orleans for Essence, I was like, yo, I appreciate you so much.
Right. Oh, like you said she was 3 months?
Yeah.
She was 3 months old.
Yes.
I'm like, I appreciate you more. Like, I knew that you were doing what you were doing, but being able to
that level,
being able to see that you're not here, and I have to do it all alone. Like, not saying that I couldn't, but shit, you really do a lot.
Right.
It opened up my eyes more. It continued changing my views on it, and being able to be more like, oh, I can't be a dick.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You know,
Sure.
So little note for any women out there who are new moms or would like to be moms at some point. Keep in mind, go away every couple of months for like a few days, so that way
get them to like
you basically be like, oh shit, you actually this is hard, because at this point, like, what's sexy now? Washing bottles. What's sexy now? Making formula in the middle of the night, or like, you know what I mean, or like that is sexy as hell. Changing a shitty diaper. Woof. Take me now.
After it's all over their clothes.
Exactly.
When you 10 minutes late from leaving the house.
Up the back, up the front. Like, how did they get in the front? Like, I don't even understand it. Your butthole's not even there. Like, wait. So, but you will never be more invested in anybody else's shit until you have a baby. And so, if that's a part of your plan.
Right.
So, we know sex is important, but the level of importance changes in a relationship between different dynamics. Kids is obviously a big one, but other things impact our relationships and our outlook on it. And so for you all, what do you guys think that has had the biggest impact on your relationships, from like thinking like upbringing, career, family, beliefs? Because all of these things like play a role, but for everybody it's some things more than others. So, like for you, TT, like what do you think plays a role? Is and then because like you could take the motherhood aspect out of it, so that way it's like a even playing field with this conversation. And so because moms
I really
people with kids like we always
I can't imagine. I like spazzed out because meat wasn't taken out the freezer the other night, so I can, and I literally tweeted like now I know how my mother felt, and I give her so much more credit. Like that alone, I'm like, oh child, I know mine now. And that was just on the smallest scale of like what I could even imagine what that's like. But to answer the question, I really do think that these like love languages are a really big thing. So what is important to me and what I value and what I need in a relationship is completely different from what your partner may need, and how you communicate and how you comprehend. I had to realize like that's such a big thing that like I was like, I'm saying stuff till I'm blue in the face. Like I don't even know any other. I was like, should I say it in Spanish, Italian? Like I don't know what else to say or do. And then I had to realize like, then it was that delivery, because it's like, well, your tone is very condescending, so it's like he's shutting down and not listening because I'm just being very like probably nasty in how I'm saying it. So I've had to like, I mean, this is like literally like this week, step back and this is so current, and reevaluate like how I'm saying things, because in the big scheme of things, what we were arguing about was so stupid, the meat not being taken out of the freezer. And it literally carried on for 3 days. And I was like, oh my God. But the root of what it was like, it was so much more important to me. Like you said, help me.
Yes.
Like, because when we started off with the elevator, I was like, work is super stressful. I cannot come home and think about like
the meat is else. A symbol.
Yeah, and I was it's a symbol. I had sides, I was like, and no protein. And I was like, now I'm just gonna be vegan tonight. Like, I was so mad I didn't even eat that night.
I really wanted that.
I cried over sneakers last week. Tatum's shoes.
You did.
I think I was so mad.
You definitely did.
Because I was like, so like these last weekends we've been coming up, and I pack every weekend for this little girl, and I have like to plan out the outfit and blah blah blah. Right. And like at the 11th hour, like we're just about to leave, and he was like, oh, I want her to wear these shoes and not those shoes. Like, go put those. Like can you put these?
No,
you didn't say it. Like,
you are like, making this better for you.
No, how did you say it? How did you say it?
I said that I wanted her to wear the sneakers.
Yes.
Because she's gonna grow out of them. So let's get her to wear those. Okay. That's all I said. She didn't tell me that. She didn't say, babe, I already have a pair of sneakers for her. She didn't do any of that stuff. But she did that, and she lost her mind.
I didn't lose my mind.
She lost her mind. And I just couldn't understand. First off,
I copped an attitude. Because I also knew that it was going to, because I knew if I said something, you'd be like, what do you mean? It's just shoes, blah, blah, blah. And
no.
But what it was that it just felt like I'm doing all the work, and then you want to swoop in and change something.
And see, that's, so in my mind, I'd woken up, I've given Tatum a bath, I've done everything. Like, we were tag teaming. Hey, I'm helping you, you helping me. Hey, let her wear these sneakers. and then she had the worst attitude ever, and I'm just like, I just can't comprehend. So for me, it was like, you asked for help, I'm helping.
Yeah.
You're upset, so I won't help ever again.
That alone, in my mind, like
Wow.
it's like it's one way,
That's
and
the
then in your
comprehend
mind,
part.
exactly that. And then there's this gray area that like no one ever gets to, because like you said, in my mind, it's like, but I'm doing this, and then in my mind, like, but I'm doing this, that.
Exactly.
So it's that is. I mean, I think that might be something that you're always gonna have to work on.
Yeah.
And if y'all are 15 years in and still saying that, then I know
It
a long way to
definitely
go.
is. Don't. It's never. It. In some ways it gets easier. In other ways it just gets different.
I just
That's
think
all.
it depends on how you bounce back from it, what you take from it.
Yeah. But how about you, Gigi? What do you think is the most, or what do you believe has like the biggest impact on like your relationship outlook or approach?
I had an answer, and I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Do you want us to come back? You can circle back around. You made us come back to the dating one.
The horoscope one.
Yeah, I see. Again, I'm a teacher.
Oh, right,
I'm okay.
yeah.
I'm okay with think time because I so. But
What has the biggest impact in a relationship for me? Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I think it really does come down to the to my love language and the whole like acts of service. But like you said, understanding how my boyfriend is very much so like the affectionate. So, and that's probably like last. Even though I like it, it's just not natural to me. So I had to really like, touch your arm like this, like, you know,
this.
because it's just not, it's not a natural expression. And for me, it never has been. And I think that has been the number one complaint from any gentleman that I've ever like seriously dated, is that I am not affectionate.
Yeah. I think sometimes we always like the trap that a lot of people fall into is I do things in the way that like I like them to happen. So like I like acts of service, so I'm gonna do these things.
That's what I'm
to help
gonna
it.
do. Yep.
And he likes quality time and affection or whatever. And so it's like, but I'm like, but that's like we always do it how we would want to receive it versus like being like, actually this person prefers when I like sit down next to them and start talking to them while they're watching, versus something else. So it's like trying to make that effort,
Right.
because like for me, like even though I'm very sensitive, like being very like touchy-feely is just not really my bag. Like, so trying to like remember that like he likes like, you want a shoulder rub, babe, or you want to, because that's what he likes and he needs. So
Right.
kind of having that foresight to do that. So trying to, I set a reminder in my phone.
Set a reminder.
Exactly.
That sounded so
Tuesday shoulder
suspicious.
rub.
Right.
Go ahead.
There we go.
She ain't never,
Even.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm
Not
growing.
never.
I'm
Not
growing.
once.
I'm growing.
Okay.
I'm doing, right? Can I grow? You can grow.
Be great.
Can I?
Sure.
Growth. Thank you. All right, just a few more for you lovely ladies. So we have 2 New York transplants in front of us, Baltimore and Indiana. Simple question. Would y'all ever move home?
Hell no. That's easy. T, I feel like was saying she was moving home every other year.
I know. I'm tired of New York, but I don't know where else to go. I don't know. No, but the answer is no.
Okay.
I go home a lot though. I mean, it's like how y'all did
Exactly.
every weekend.
I
Like
feel
I'll
the same
be
way. Like I would
next
never
weekend.
move back to New York.
Yeah.
Unless I was like a millionaire, then
Yeah.
Right.
then it's fair game. But I just couldn't come back to like live in an apartment or
I
Yeah.
get it.
like I need to own.
Alternate
No,
side of the
I
street
get it.
parking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if
Yeah.
I move back,
Totally
the car
get
is
it.
gone.
I don't even want to get on public transportation no more. Like,
Yeah.
I'm over it, and
And it's worse, sis.
Oh, yeah,
it's
it
so
is.
bad.
I took it a few times, like, occasionally when I came up here, and I'm like, the fuck, like,
Yeah,
why,
it's
like,
horrible.
why is like
so
the
packed.
service is bad, like the fares keep going up,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, yeah, see, I'm not built for this anymore. Like, I can just get in my car and go,
go, right. I know.
and I can get there.
But I get tired of that. I get tired of having to drive everywhere. Like I miss the corner store. Like
Yes.
I talk about this all the time. I miss being
Bodega,
able
yes.
to like
Right.
it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm hungry. What am I gonna eat? Oh, I'm gonna go down the block. Like, you can't do that in Baltimore.
This is true.
No.
But-
But what part of Baltimore do y'all live in?
We live in the county, but it's
we're
on
in
Owings
Mills.
Mills.
So
So,
it's definitely not happening
Okay.
out there.
yeah, but it's
Yeah, I
definitely.
can go to Wawa, I guess.
Yeah, it's not.
I love Wawa.
Yeah. But it's,
I mean, that's the closest thing we're going to have to, like, a New York sub, at least
Yeah,
for me.
I love Wawa.
yeah. They do make good sandwiches, but it's still not like a bodega sandwich. Like it's not. It's
And
not
I think I don't eat them, so
Oh.
yeah, I'm here for a Wawa, but I do not trust bodega sandwiches. Or I trust the gentrified places. Yes, I said it. I'm like, give me a gentrified coffee
I mean, you can't
shop
go everywhere. You have to
any
be
day.
discerning. But there are
Yeah.
like some. There are still some. You know,
That cat
neighborhood.
that be lingering. I think that cat hair is in
He
the
sleeps
seat.
on the bread.
No,
He
exactly.
definitely sleeps on the butt.
And it's getting in that.
He got to eat the mice.
Exactly.
There's a
Getting on that
cat
boar's head
on-
lunch meat.
On the bread, you know that sandwich is going to
Be
be
fire.
I
know
only
you
go to
about to get some fire.
I only go to one place on Myrtle. I'm like a farmer in the deli, but like other than that, I do not do bodega sandwiches.
God, see, that's that transplant talking.
That
That's
is, it is, it really
so,
is.
See, like we came in like,
It
nah,
is.
you can find the right ones. There's not every single one, but
Yeah.
there's the right ones.
You can do your question. I'll do the
okay.
last question.
All right, and so again, our research of you all. So I know. Wait, who went to Spelman? Did somebody go to Spelman?
I went to Clark.
Clark.
Sorry.
Why did
I said it wrong one. Sorry.
That's
Got me
okay.
out here looking unprofessional.
No,
Okay.
CAU.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So HBCU alum. How did you all feel about Beachella versus Mayo Shella? Since we could tie it back to Taylor Swift and her dirty
That
legs.
was-
And so
Taylor Swift's thing.
Yeah.
Remember, I think we were trying to talk about. Daryl was trying to make us talk about that, and I was like, I don't care about Taylor Swift. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I literally never really looked into it.
I never saw the actual performance.
Yeah.
I saw it. It was a whole ass try. Like it really was. And Taylor's known for being inspired by other people or
A copycat.
a copycat, a biter. But it was just like outrageous,
Yeah.
and it was right at. Now I don't know. I mean, I'm sure she didn't know that B was releasing the video on Netflix. She probably thought, "Oh, okay, that was 6 months ago. Nobody remembers." Blah blah blah. Whoop doo doo whoop. That
Yeah.
shit dropped the week of the whole her
Billboard
performance.
Awards. Yeah.
But we were there. Like we saw Beyonce perform.
Oh, you were at
We were
Coachella?
at
Yeah.
Coachella. That was like the best thing that I've ever witnessed in my
It was.
entire life.
I told G I missed half of it because I was dancing so hard. When I
Yeah,
rewatched
she was
it on
fucked
Netflix,
up. She
yeah,
was
I was
dancing.
fucked up. And I was like, it was the next morning. Remember, I was like, Solange was there. When?
Oh, no.
I missed all. There were. It was like
Yeah.
I was watching.
Were you like
a
Kelly
totally
from
new
Insecure?
show.
Like almost like.
Yes.
Yeah, all of that was
I have a shirt that
was
says
it.
"Remember Me Different."
Exactly.
And so, like
that
that's-
was me.
that's so
that
funny.
was me. It
Oh my
literally, yeah,
god!
that
See, and
was
I'm
me.
trying to get him to appreciate. TJ does not appreciate Beyonce the way he needs
appreciate
to.
Beyonce.
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't.
She has great work ethic.
She's not everybody's cup of tea. I get that.
Right,
The
I do.
Beehive is full.
But you
It is.
can't. You can't.
Anyway,
take-
right,
you can't
right.
At
take-
least, you know what? At least y'all,
don't need no more
at least y'all
members.
good saying that y'all beehives. Because she won't.
No,
she won't
I
admit to her
said I am
beehive.
beehive adjacent because I will not I'm not gonna put like bees under people's posts that like say people that, like say
Oh,
shady
yeah, that's
things
excessive.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm not. To me, that's why I call myself
you're a
beehive.
beehive. It's cool.
I am a beehive, but
You
I'm like
just have
okay.
to be a beehive
I'm like
terrorist.
30 and over beehive. Like I am.
Right, we're a little more
grown
respectful.
as,
We're not,
like-
I'm not going to fight you in the Twitter comments.
Exactly.
or
I'm just
anything.
going to buy her
I like
music,
Beyonce. I
buy
like-
everything that she puts
I like
out.
older
Stand for
Beyonce.
her.
I like
Yeah.
when she started being more freely and like relatable.
Yeah, but like you can't deny her work ethic.
I'm not.
You can't deny that what she did
You
was
are
like
beehive.
like-
I'm like,
See, thank you.
I like you are beehive.
no,
Thank
but-
you.
see, but he be trying to
She's
say.
stinging.
How do you feel about her music?
It's cool.
It's very
you
lukewarm
can't-
in my opinion.
No.
It's just a very lukewarm. He's,
You
I
always
don't
like
have-
it's amazing. It's the
music.
greatest thing I've ever seen. No, it's cool.
But how do you feel about Drake?
Oh, you're not gonna do that.
See,
Drake
okay.
is fire. He
So
does
is-
it all.
So is Beyonce. Just
All
say
right.
she's fire, and then we'll be
Whose show is
even.
better?
Beyonce's. What are you
Definitely
talking
wasn't.
about?
What Drake show?
Right. I'm like,
I'm not talking about the Coachella one. That's different. That's on a whole nother
He's
level.
never been to a Beyonce concert, so he can't even say
I
that.
always tell
Okay.
everybody that's honestly that. And anytime somebody says this, I
Yeah.
always say see her live, and
And
because
it's
I
different.
wasn't like that. I think
It'll
I was
change
a
your whole
fan,
mind.
but
I
I
told her the
wasn't like
next
a
one I'll
crazy
go to.
fan. Yeah, but once you see her live, it changes everything.
I
So
mean,
that actually makes
I heard
sense.
On the Run 1 and On the Run 2 was like the same show.
It's the exact same show.
Yeah.
Don't see it with Jay.
I'm not-
Don't see
yeah,
Jay's
I'm not-
ball.
I don't like
on the
the
run
On the
too
Run.
is
Drake is never giving you the same show.
It's
That's all I'm
Beyonce
saying.
featuring
You said Drake?
Jay-Z.
Drake is never
No,
giving
Drake
you
is
the same
I've seen
Drake is
about
the same
15 times.
show, dog.
It's the same. And I'm a Drake fan. It's the
See,
same
yeah,
show.
I
Have you
love
seen the
Drake.
same-
I love
same
Drake.
I've
show?
seen
Yeah.
both, and their shows are not the same.
It's
like,
not, no.
like you would have been really
But
best
it's
when you
alright.
saw Formation. Formation was the shit.
So,
Yeah, it was.
So let's be fair. So the way that I love Drake is the way that you love Beyonce, but you don't love Drake, and I don't have to love Beyonce. See, we can.
But I like, I don't try to shade Drake.
I don't
That's
try
all.
to shade Beyonce. What have I said bad about Beyonce?
I just don't appreciate your lukewarm responses to her her
You're
musical
not being
genius.
fair.
I'm just
You're
saying.
not being a fair partner.
I
I
guess.
support
So
you.
I
and
do
I'm
this,
supportive
but
of
it's with Carrie Hilson. I love Carrie Hilson. And
Really?
I love Carrie Hilson.
I like some of
And
her
we got in an
songs.
argument over Janae Aiko and Carrie Hilson. I was like, I don't even know this.
How are they? But how are they? They
So,
even?
so funny story about Carrie. When she
Trigger,
first
like,
came out,
right.
we was in Miami, and my best friend loves her.
Carrie Hilson.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're like, what, 19? No, we're 20, 21. And it was like $50 to get in. And I'm like, we're broke college students, but I'm like, it's Carrie. I know you want to see her. So we paid the $50 to go see Carrie Hilson.
Oh, wow.
She was cool.
I've never seen her live. I mean, I also don't expect her to blow me away, but I think her songwriting ability.
Oh yeah, no, she
Yeah.
been writing songs for.
And that's the
pretty.
thing I feel about Janae. I think the way that you can connect with her music, I literally like triggered. I listened to that song like 85 times.
I keep
Same.
seeing people posting it. I have to
It's a
listen
good
to
song.
it.
It's
It's
I
so
like
It's a good song. It was written well.
It's real.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna listen to. I listen to
Go
mostly
ahead,
what.
Beyonce.
Okay.
Right?
That's fine. I mean, if that's all I had to listen to, I'd be
I'm
alright.
just,
But
you got to open up your ears, listen to other things.
well, I listen to a lot of what you listen to. You dominate the Apple CarPlay, so
Facts.
thank you.
I'm doing all the driving, so
That's fine.
All
That's
right,
fine.
then.
So play Triggered, and then I'll hear it.
I did play it actually. You were sleeping. You do that a lot on our trips too.
Cause I be tired. I work hard.
So you got it.
Thank you. Okay.
So with our final question,
Yes.
where do you see Oprah Rose in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
We definitely want to do more live shows. That is something that's like the immediate future
Gotcha.
of definitely doing more live shows and I think just doing more things like in a live capacity. If it's like more panels or guest speaking stuff like that, definitely more of like a reach out and touch
Yeah.
somebody's hand.
I'm with
It's
you.
like
Yeah.
it's a way different experience, you know, of like. And even I think seeing other people, like going to other people's live shows and the response, like the same way I said I was yelling at the car when y'all were talking about the Aisha Curry thing. I think it's the same thing for anybody,
Yeah.
like listening to a podcast to have that that immediate reaction from like the people that are listening.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's amazing because you're like, I know, girl, yes, da, 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 da. So definitely that. And then wherever it takes us.
Right.
I didn't think we'd still be doing it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Wherever it takes us.
Wherever it takes
I
us.
mean, still putting out really good content. I think just the general creative, goal for us will always be like putting out really good content and growing on that, whether it's a new type, whether it's some written type, which is where we're open to seeing where this takes us. And just growing, like having a larger audience, a larger presence, and yeah.
I feel you.
That's
on
fair.
that.
That's awesome.
Well, ladies, this
Thank
has
you so
been
much.
so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you
this
had
was a
enjoyed-
good time.
Listen, I was like, whoo, child, I was like,
Y'all
totally in my
inspiring.
elevator. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm not alone.
no. But we really, really, really appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time to speak with us. Our little podcast that could. And in case, what we always ask is, of course, even though most people probably already know where to find you, but what are the handles and tags that people can find Oprah Rose? and just let them know, Instagram, websites, all that jazz, and platforms.
And we'll also put it inside
in our show notes as always.
Okay. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, with Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Twitter is Oprah Rose Show. Instagram is The Oprah Rose Show, and TheOprahRoseShow.com. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, with that being said, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel. I am your girl, Dani.
And I'm your guy, TJ.
And as always, we fuss.
We fight.
But we love.
Bye.
Take my closing every time.
My fault.
Bye. You just say bye.
Oh my God, that would be my tagline. That would literally be my.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.